We have some breaking news now. We want to bring you out of New York City, and we're told about multiple people who have been shot at a hospital in the Bronx. This is happening at Bronx-Lebanon Hospital. It's being described as an active shooter situation. These are live aerials coming to us from New York City, from our station in New York, WCBS, and you can see the scene there on the ground. We're told that the shooter is still, perhaps this is an active shooter situation, and that there are multiple people who have been shot inside the hospital. 2 people, according to the NYPD, and you can see the crowds there gathering there outside of the hospital. If you're familiar with the Bronx, this is 173rd and the Grand Concourse. This is the section of the Bronx where this hospital is located. Again, it's Bronx-Lebanon Hospital. It's one of the larger hospitals in the Bronx, which is, of course, one of the boroughs of New York City, north of Manhattan. As we take a look at these pictures now, hospitals train for these types of situations, but obviously a very scary situation as an active shooter is on the loose inside the hospital. Let's take a listen to coverage now from our sister station in New York City.
Police responding there with a man with a rifle has barricaded himself inside. That is what Lena Roy is reporting there on her Twitter page. But we do have crews on the way. You can see here that this is a view maybe from our chopper. Is this our view from our chopper? Yes, chopper 2. Okay, this is a view from our chopper that has just arrived there at the scene. And as we are able to zoom in closer to that area, we will be able to see more of in more detail of what exactly is going on. But once again, a very, very disturbing situation happening at Bronx-Lebanon Hospital. It's located at 173rd Grand Concourse. This is in the Mount Eden section. This hospital is actually the largest voluntary not-for-profit healthcare system, and it serves the South and the Central Bronx area. The services that they offer are specialized, like long-term care. They also specialize in 2 chemical dependency and psychiatric programs. We don't know what exactly led up to today's shooting. It is just much too early to tell, but we do know that police are looking for an active shooter. 2 people reportedly shot, and one of our reporters is also reporting that the possible gunman has now barricaded himself inside Bronx-Lebanon Hospital. Police protocol. They know what they're doing. They go in, they form into their teams and their groups. This is what they've trained for. This is how they execute it. So until we get more word from them, we really don't want to confirm anything about the victims other than there were 2 victims and also an active shooter.
And I'm just hearing as well from our producer, the hospital is now officially on lockdown, no one being allowed in or out except, of course, for those police officers who are trying to find this gunman. And if you think about it, Christine, this is a hospital. These are vulnerable people. Some people probably frightened right now, very scary. And the doctors and nurses we're hearing are barricading themselves inside rooms, assumedly with some of these patients, trying to keep them calm while police do their job. Multiple shots fired. We're hearing the gunman has barricaded himself inside a room with a rifle. We can't confirm the exact number of people who have been shot or the extent of their injuries, but we do know police are looking for a male black wearing all black clothing somewhere hidden inside that hospital, while the people who are in there trapped inside, of course, are terrified for their lives. Special Ops is on scene. As you can see to the right of your screen there, our chopper is flying over, giving you an aerial view. It's difficult to really see a lot of the activity happening on the ground there, but this is in the Mount Eden section of the Bronx, just south of the Cross Bronx Expressway. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on this breaking story. We have multiple crews heading to the scene. Our chopper is going to continue to hover overhead, and we're going to be gathering more information before our newscast.
And here is a live look from our chopper 2 HD, trying to get as close to the scene as possible there. I'm sure that there are protocols in place with an active shooter, a possible active shooter. We need to make sure that police and emergency crews all have their space. So we're going to just kind of hover from a distance here with this view from Chopper 2. And once we can zoom in and get a little closer, we will certainly do that for you. But I'm just checking even the NYPD's homepage here on Twitter, and they still have not reported anything as of yet and confirmed anything as of yet. But obviously we can tell you what we're seeing, and what we're seeing is a lot of police presence at the hospital. And we can also tell you, just given the phone calls that we've made to various sources, 2 people, we are told, have been hurt in this shooting, and also a reporter also reporting that the possible gunman is, okay, we can see an NYPD chopper there. So obviously this is why our chopper is not able to get closer here to the scene, but the NYPD chopper now canvassing the area. Of course, they're going to be looking inside the hospital, and they're going to be looking in that surrounding area. With a crowded hospital like that, there must have been multiple witnesses who hopefully were able to give police a very good description of the suspect. But again, police canvassing the area by floor to floor in that hospital, and as we can see here in these pictures, by air.
And Christine, we're hearing from our sources there on the ground that the shooter is apparently a former employee of that hospital. No word on what his motive may have been for carrying out this shooting, but that does add a twist to this story. If in fact the shooter was or is a former employee of the hospital, it calls into question, could this have been a workplace shooting? Was there some sort of vendetta? Did something go wrong? We don't know any of the answers to those questions right now, but we do know that he was formerly employed at the hospital there, which gives the story a different tone.
Sure. Whenever you hear of emergencies like this, given the day and age that we live in, we automatically think of something on a bigger scale, more of like a terrorism, but this, from what we can tell, with the reports coming into the newsroom, is that this is not related to terrorism, and this may very well have been a workplace dispute. But again, these are early reports, and the situation is very fluid right now. I can't stress that enough. So the early reports that we're getting, I want to confirm with you that those details could possibly change. But once again, this is a live look here from Chopper 2. We are canvassing the area, trying to get as close to that area as we possibly can, but we did see some NYPD choppers in that airspace, and I'm sure that they have closed that off so that they could have the space that they need to try to find this suspect who reportedly shot 2 people. This area, as you can see from these pictures, there's apartments, there's people that live in this area, and I'm sure that there are probably some road closures right now as a result of this as well. So there will be some traffic issues. And I'm just looking over an email that I just got from our assignment desk. So here is what we can report right now. Multiple people shot, unknown to the extent of the injuries, and the suspect, as you said, Jessica, is believed to be an ex-employee of Bronx-Lebanon, and that suspect is believed to be barricaded somewhere in the hospital with a rifle. So many elements happening here. Not only are they trying to find this suspect, but they need to make sure that all of the other patients are safe and secure. They also need to make sure that their health needs are being tended to. They're also making sure that this suspect does not harm anyone else, and hopefully leave that building.
We're hearing right now that the suspect does have a rifle. He's barricaded inside a room. Police earlier, we were hearing on the scanners, going floor by floor, clearing rooms, trying to make sure that they could make sure that the area was clear of any danger. And so far, we just know that the man is in the hospital. He has barricaded himself with his weapon, and police are actively trying to find him right now. Doctors and nurses taking shelter inside rooms, barricading themselves inside. The entire hospital is on lockdown. No one allowed in or out, except, of course, for the police officers, the special ops team who is in there right now trying to find this shooter. Multiple people shot. We cannot tell you exactly the number right now. That number keeps changing. We also can't tell you the condition. The conditions keep changing because, again, this just happened within the last 30 minutes or so. So all of this information is coming into the newsroom. It's very fluid, but police are on the scene trying to find the shooter. And you can see here, The hospital is just south of the Cross Bronx Expressway. It's just north of Claremont Park. So people in that area undoubtedly are on high alert right now. As Christine mentioned, not sure what kind of road closures may be in effect, but they will undoubtedly go into effect as police make sure that entire area is secure. And just because we say the hospital is on a lockdown, they want to make sure that gunman doesn't get out of the hospital and also doesn't hurt anyone else while he is barricaded inside there.